Sections 6 and 7 of this course are going to be based on Project 2, which is going to be a self-portrait, and it's going to teach us about the basics of retouching in Photoshop. We're not going to get super advanced into retouching in this course, but we're going to cover everything that you need to know about retouching for composite photography. So Section 6, right now we're going to go over the basics of healing, cleaning up skin, making your image look how you want it to look. So what I've done is I've taken a picture. It's a self-portrait. I did it right here in the studio. I just set up a couple of simple lights and took a picture against that red backdrop there. When you do this project, I want you to do a self-portrait as well if you're comfortable with that. I know that it can be hard to kind of look at a picture of you and go over every little pixel and detail on your skin. So if you'd like to do a self-portrait, I invite you to do that. If you don't, then find someone that's willing to be a model for you so that you can do the project with them. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a simple portrait where everything's in focus, and we're going to be focusing on the face. So let's go ahead and open up the pictures that I took, and we'll open up these in Lightroom. I just want to point out a couple of simple things here. You can see on the time lapse that I had to focus the camera myself because I was all alone in the studio. So what I did is I got a yardstick and I held it up approximately where I would be sitting, and then I just leaned back and looked in the camera and focused it that way. So if you can set some sort of object up in the area where you will be or where you want to be focused, then that can get the job done super well. And then just take a couple of test shots to make sure you have it correct. And if you need to make adjustments, you can go from there. The other thing I want to show you is that I took some pictures right at the end of just the red wall. And I did this because if we make adjustments, so if we picked one of these pictures and I wanted to make adjustments to the face, and let's say oh, that one's out of focus. Let's look here. If I wanted to like bring in my ear here, let's say I wanted to make it look like I didn't have ears, I could cut that out, but then I would have to fill in the background behind it. We'll go over how you could do that, but if you do anything more extreme, you want to have a blank slate to work with of just what the background would be without your subject in the picture. So let's go ahead. This is just going to be pretty simple. I'm not too picky about what picture I use here. You can see that I changed the light setup a couple times. Then I tried to get really pretentious with these. So let's go ahead and we'll pick, I'm going to pick one where I'm not smiling because there's a couple of things you can do in Photoshop that I kind of want to play around with and show you. So a neutral face is kind of best for this. And we'll go with this one right here. So this one is 9470. So I'll go ahead and open that up in Photoshop now, and I'll also open up one of these backdrops. So if you have raw images on your desktop and you want to open multiple up in Photoshop, select which one you want. So I want 9470 here, and then I'll pick one of these blank canvas ones. Click open, and now this will open automatically in Camera Raw. And I want to make sure that whatever adjustments I make to my primary image are also made to my secondary image, just the plain backdrop. So what I'll do is make sure that I have them both selected. And then when I make changes on one, you can see that it's now applied to both. And you can kind of keep tabs on that in that little icon view. So just make sure that everything is selected so you're making these changes collectively to all of the images. And I don't want to do too much with this. I just want to make sure that it's a really clear image. You can see that when I pushed auto, it made adjustments here, and then it made very different adjustments here. That's because it's making auto adjustments on both images based on the individual images. So I click auto here, it will auto adjust this image, but it will also auto adjust this image independently. I don't want to do that, so I will go back to my normal settings and just make sure that I make the changes precisely on each element here, and that will make the same change across the board on all the selected images. So just bring up the exposure a tiny bit and bring down the whites a little bit. Actually, you know what? I don't want to make it look too good right now because then we won't have any work to do. So let's just leave these as are, and the only thing I changed was the white balance. Okay, with them both selected, let's click Open Images. And now these will open up in Photoshop. I want to bring them onto the same document, so I'll unlock this background layer, drag it over, hold Shift when I let go, and it'll place itself in the middle of the document. I'll drag this down. Oh, I have to unlock this layer. I'll drag this background layer to the back and just name it Background. And now we're ready to start working on this image in Photoshop.